What are the voices that you're choosing to listen to at the moment? There's lots that are really important, actually. Political voices, voices from government, medical voices, scientific voices, all telling us what to do, all requiring our obedience in some way, shape or form. We're in a story in Luke 4 where we see the authority of Jesus' voice, which in a very real way overrides, not contradicts, but overrides all those other voices that speak to us and teach us and demand our allegiance in some way, shape or form. It's a wonderful little story actually in Luke chapter 4, sentences 31 through to 36. Jesus is in the synagogue, the religious place, and he's speaking, and twice in the story people are amazed at the authority of his words. The first one comes in sentence 32. Let me read it to you. It says, "Then he went to Capernaum, a town in Galilee, and on the Sabbath he taught the people. They were amazed at his teaching because his words had authority." Do you see their amazement at his teaching? His words have this authority. In that context, that's the authority of the professor. It's the authority to teach. It's the call for us to learn from Jesus and realize that Jesus can educate us, inform us, instruct us in a way that no other teacher can. And actually, uniquely, Jesus' words have actually tested across time and been proven to be valid in their teaching ability. I have a friend who trained to be a doctor. This is going back many, many years when I was at university. He was training to be a doctor, and one of his parents had been a doctor. And in an attempt to save money, they sent him to university with his parents' textbooks, the textbooks that his mum had studied, 30 years, 40 years earlier at university. Well, of course, as soon as he walked into the lecture theatre, the professor just laughed at him. Those books were so outdated, 4 decades old of medical advancement. You wouldn't trust anything written in them, really, would you? But you see, Jesus' words have stood the test of time. Still, places like the Sermon on the Mount, still Jesus' teaching, the golden rule as we sometimes call it, they cascade through society. Amazed at his authority to teach, the authority of the lecturer, the professor. That's one of the authorities of Jesus' words. Would you come to Jesus and learn from him? He's so reliable. Secondly, they're amazed, however, at the command of his words, amazed at his authority, like the policeman or the soldier, to do what Jesus says. Let me read the story. Pick it up, sentence 33. It says, "In the synagogue, there was a man possessed by a demon, an impure spirit, who cried out at the top of his voice, 'Go away! What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God.' 'Be quiet,' Jesus said sternly. 'Come out of him.' The demon threw the man down before them all and came out without injuring him. All the people were amazed and said to each other, 'What words are these? With authority and power, he even gives orders to impure spirits, and they come out.'" Do you notice they're amazed again at the authority of Jesus' words? But this time it's not the authority to teach, it's the authority to command, to give orders. That not only is Jesus like the great professor we can learn from, but Jesus is like the great policeman that we need to obey and do what he says. And again, I want to urge you to do both, especially if you're not yet a Christian, or perhaps you've been trying to follow Jesus but been a bit lax with it. Come back to the words of Jesus, the voice of Jesus. Learn from Jesus, be amazed at his authority to teach, but also obey Jesus. Be amazed at his authority to command. Both be instructed by him, but also truly follow him. His words have that dual power. And I hope, like me, you're amazed to discover that authority as you live it out.